Hi, folks. Welcome to Smart Living. Well, I am so excited because I have Joy Kline, who is, what do you like, the CEO of?
CEO, Executive Director.
Okay.
Yeah.
Over at Treasures for Teachers, which is a wonderful organization that really supports our teacher community here.
Exactly.
So basically, what it is you're a nonprofit. You basically accept donations from a lot of businesses that are kind of done with their supplies, their business supplies or whatever, which can therefore be used in the classroom for teachers. And as we all know, teachers are extremely underpaid and teachers are extremely generous. And so they go out of their way and spend their own earned income and bring it into the classroom. So this is a great way for them to save money. I personally think they need to stop that behavior and let us as taxpayers pay for that. But welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm
Yeah.
so excited to be here.
Yes,
So-
and I really appreciate you coming in because I have been bugging you. So I went and recently saw the store, and you guys can log on to my social media and check it out. But tell me a little bit for people who haven't heard about Treasures for Teachers. You know, what it's about, the organization, how you started, and how people can save money.
Sure. So Treasures for Teachers was started in 2003. So we began because of the fact of two main things. Our teachers needed things for the classroom, and a lot of those things were ending up in landfills. So if you think whether a business is changing everything they have in their store supplies and they have nowhere else to put it, they bring it to us. And then that helps go right into a classroom for a teacher. So we are a member-based organization. Our teachers pay $35 a year to shop with us. We also have a community membership too for $45.
So if you're not a teacher, I want to clarify that. So if you are an educator, it doesn't necessarily mean a classroom teacher. Like you can even be like a Girl Scouts leader.
Absolutely.
I teach classes. I would qualify as a teacher. I'm an educator. So that's $35 a year. But if you're not an educator and you're just somebody off the street, or maybe you want to get school supplies for your kids, that's going to cost you $45 a year, and it's worth the membership.
Yeah, you know, when you think about the fact that we are making choices every day of where we're spending our dollars, and I would want to support our nonprofit community in any way possible because we need all the love. And in many ways, our community membership was really saying, we know you make choices, and if you want to come and check out what we have, this is one way to do it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So now give me an example of some of the things that people can expect when they go to your store. Now, you're located in Tempe.
Yes, so we are on 48th between Southern and Broadway on the east side of this road. We are in a space that's a little over 18,000 square feet, so we are kind of a traditional warehouse when you walk in. Big, tall ceilings. And
yeah, it's not like a retail store. It looks like an office building.
Exactly, yeah. So we try and use our vertical space really well, and everything is in two different zones. So first zone is basically a price is marked. So the actual item has a price tag on it, but then everything else is our $5 fill-up bucket. So that is huge. An awesome way to get a lot of things for only $5. So we have a 3-gallon bucket that you get to basically borrow while you're shopping. Fill that bucket full of all sorts of various miscellaneous items.
From staplers to, I mean, gosh.
Loose paper.
You had stamps. You had Are books part of it?
Yes, books are part of it. A whole section of books, all available. Holiday-related items. When you look at pens, pencils, crayons, you could literally get a whole bucket of crayons.
I mean, think about that. Like you could go get a 3-gallon bucket full of pencils for just $5.
Exactly.
So that's a great example of giving people like the deal.
Yeah.
So that's totally worth the membership.
Exactly. So when you come out, then we have our basic checkout, and then we also have a small thrift store that is part of our whole building and what we celebrate in recycle and reuse.
Okay, so sustainability is a huge thing, the theme there.
Yes.
So that's the thrift store is kind of new.
It is, yeah.
So what was the reasoning behind the thrift store?
Well, we have a lot of community members that think of us when they're bringing things to us. So, binders, those crayons, all of those things that, still have some life left in them. And then they wanted to bring us some nicer things. So whether it was some handbags, some clothes, some household items that wouldn't necessarily fit in our teacher store. And so that's really where the thrift store was born. So Treasure Box Thrift. And it's really become such a fun way for us to engage with the community. We do different sales all the time, going through, rotating that, inventory. There's always just something fresh in there. So.
Well, I will say, when I went over there to film, it was like, I think a Tuesday in the middle of the afternoon, I was surprised at how busy the thrift store was. There was all these younger people coming in, buying all this eclectic stuff. And so I thought, well, this is kind of cool. I actually got a Kate Spade purse, which I told you, because you had 50% off anything in the cabinet. Yeah. And I thought $55 for the Kate Spade purse was a good deal, but I got it for $27.50. I was like, whoa, score smart shopper.
That's awesome. So, when you're buying things at the thrift store, then all those proceeds are just coming back to the teacher store for us to make sure that we have what we need for our teachers.
Right. Mm-hmm. So getting back to Treasures for Teachers. So one of the things that I've used it personally is I use it to get business supplies for my office. Mm-hmm. So the $35 membership has always been worth it to me, because just one trip I save, what I buy would have probably cost me $65 and $35 for the annual membership, plus I end up spending $5 or $10 at the most. I'm still saving money that way. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I'm curious, so you have a lot of businesses donating to the community. Now, how long has Treasures for Teachers been around?
So 2003.
2003. Mm-hmm. And so this is a great way, not only for teachers and for all of us to get a great deal on business supplies and thrifting, but it's a great way for businesses to get rid of stuff without having to pay the fees to dispose of it. Throwing things away actually costs money if it doesn't, break, if it's not considered trash. Yeah. And that costs these businesses a lot of money. So they're actually saving money, making themselves look fantastic as people who help support the community, and then we all make it a win-win.
Yeah, we have offices, they're cleaning out one office, moving to another, downsizing. Where are those items going? They're so often either just being tossed into the trash, right into the landfill. And so when we think about the fact that businesses are needing somewhere for those things to go, that's where we love to be a part of that receiver.
Now, do you guys go solicit these businesses to donate?
Yeah, we're always open. We have a lot of great relationships with some of our corporate partners like SRP and some of the big ones that are, really think about us when they're downsizing, switching things around. And even school districts, when they are moving around classrooms, they will also call us and we will come out with our truck and pick things up too.
That's fantastic. So you guys will go to the businesses and pick it up if they can't drop it off to you.
Yes.
Now, I'm curious. Can you give me a few examples of some really cool things that you got donated by businesses?
Oh, sure.
I'm sure you've got a few stories.
Yeah, I can think of a number of different little paper straws. They were almost looked kind of like a drink straw, and we had those in the $5 bucket section, and it was a huge hit. I think when I look at different straps and buckles, so sometimes we get things that were almost a manufacturing mistake, but then our teachers will look at that and see something completely different.
Right.
And that's what we love and really sets us apart, because I know someone could buy a pencil anywhere, to be quite honest, right now.
True.
So, but
not for a 3-gallon bucket for $5. I'm just saying.
I know. But, when you come in, it's the ideas that generates and such. So we're so excited when businesses think about us and say, we know where this can have its next best life is at Treasures for Teachers.
So, but for example, when I was there the other day, you guys it looked like you had a whole bunch of lap desks. Donated for from a company, and I thought, well, that is so unique.
I know, but what they use them for is lap desks, but also sometimes our school floors are not in the most amazing shape, and so they use them to sit on too.
Okay.
And so there's just so many times when I'm chatting with teachers when they're kind of going through the store, what are the things that they're up to? And it's not just a lap desk. It's something to sit on. It's something that can hold something. It's another way to make kind of a comfortable space for our students, whether it's their first time reading a book and sitting with a stuffed animal, like our book buddies.
Yes, that's something unique. You've got the book buddies where you pair the books up with the stuffed animals.
Exactly. So we have a delightful volunteer who's been with us, and that's her love is that stuffed animal that came in. Something, maybe not as cuddly, like a little snake or an octopus, but she can find that perfect book with that and then create that book buddy, which always just adds to that reading experience.
That's fantastic. Okay, so You still didn't totally answer my question, so I'm going to go back to this. So
got it.
give me an example of some really cool stuff that you guys got donated from businesses.
Okay, so one would be old software CDs. Remember the days when software was on CDs?
Yes, I remember like Windows 95.
Exactly. So they turn it into fish. They turn it into sun catchers.
Oh,
different
to keep like birds away from things.
Yes,
because it reflects.
Exactly.
Oh my God, who would have thought of that?
Or they just add it into their classroom. We have a lot of teachers who don't like the big light, if that makes sense. You know, so they're adding a lot of fun lighting, and so those are ways that they just add a real like magical component to their classrooms.
I would think. Okay, give me one more example.
Oh, sure. I know. So when I think of some of our creative reuse, we have a number of manipulatives, and so we have one teacher comes in and she makes mosaics out of all of them and teaches her class how to do it too. So it's these little tiny foam pieces that kind of mean nothing but little shapes, but then she makes whole landscapes out of them and teaches her kids how to do it too.
Oh my gosh. So basically it's, the kind of the same philosophy, like one person's trash is another person's treasure.
Yes, exactly.
And so because, teachers often do have to make something out of nothing, that creative mind is probably more active for teachers than, somebody who probably has a lot of things. So they can look at something and be like, oh my gosh, I can totally repurpose that.
Exactly.
So I remember over the years, Barbara, who was, the discoverer of Treasures for Teachers, started this wonderful organization. I remember one time she had I would go in there when we would shoot a story when I was with ABC 15, and one time they had a ton of projectors that they got donated. They were $1 each. I mean, it was ridiculous. So that was one really cool donation. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, we'll get that with microscopes too.
Okay.
That's the thing, a lot of times K-5 is kind of our sweet spot, but I will say for our STEM teachers, whether it's the, graduated cylinders, different things like that, we have those things. And, it becomes a great resource because we're so much cheaper than what you can buy in brand new.
Okay, well, that's fantastic. So besides all of that, now let's talk about plans for Treasures for Teachers moving forward. Well, actually, no, let me back up here.
Okay.
Another question came to my mind was, so when is a good time for teachers to come in where your inventory is going to be really good?
Oh, the best time is May.
Okay, May's a good time.
May's the best time.
Because it's the end of the school year?
It is, and it's our highest donation month. We get close to 800 cars donating to us in May. And so we get about 6,000 cars a year that donate. So we just love that our community thinks of us so highly in that way and makes us a stop on their donation runs. But but the problem with May is we know our teachers are done at the same time. Yes. They don't always have the bandwidth to come in, but the ones that are the smart shoppers are definitely right in there in May.
Okay.
So,
well, I noticed when I was in there, because it's the beginning of the school year, it was quite a bit busy, for sure. So, so you're open all year round?
Yes.
But your hours do change a little bit.
Yeah. So Tuesday through Saturday. Our summer hours are 9 to 4, but right now we're in what we would consider our regular hours or normal hours, which is 10 to 6.
Oh, 10 to 6. And it's just Tuesday through?
Saturday.
Okay. Now the thrift store.
Yes.
Now that's also a great way because, we know we're living in an environment where, funding is being pulled, especially a lot of organizations that, we value tremendously that we're really helping people in our community in an empathetic way. A lot of that funding is being pulled from our government. So I know a lot of nonprofits are really, either going away or they're having to shift gears.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to start talking about politics here, but I want people to know how things are being affected by our government and how this is going to affect your lives.
Exactly.
So that's why I'm asking you this question. So what are you guys doing to pivot from, the funding that you may lose?
There's a number of nonprofits that are really struggling right now, whether it's the federal funding that they've come to build programs year over year.
Yeah.
And we are grateful that we do have multiple revenue streams. I do think that's the most important thing for a sustainable nonprofit, because sustainability isn't just about taking things out of landfill. It's also making sure your organization can weather various storms. So our teacher members paying that $35 is an important revenue stream. Obviously the store itself for what we're bringing in, but still trying to keep things at low cost. And then I think when we look at our grants and foundations that are still funding us, they know that they are having the biggest impact on those teachers because those dollars are going right to those teachers, whether it's sponsored memberships or items that we can put on the floor. But where the thrift really comes in is that it's nice that there is a way for these items to find another home, but also that turns into a revenue stream that comes right back into the store.
Such a win-win.
I know.
Such a win-win.
Yeah.
So instead of putting your trash or what you define as garbage in the landfills, which we don't really have a place to put anything, we're putting it back to work, helping people who need help, helping educate our kids, helping teachers get the support that they need, keeping stuff out of the landfill. I'm finding a bargain on a Kate Spade purse. Like, it's such a win-win. Yeah. So what is, I know you said the cross streets, but give me the exact address of the store, and the thrift store is right next door.
Sure. So it's 3025 South 48th Street, Suite 101.
Okay. So I'm going to, is there anything else that you would like to share that we need to know?
So I think what we, some of the new things that we're doing that I'm really excited. So once a month, we're going to do what we call late night shopping. So you know how we're only open from 10 to 6. We know not every teacher can make it during those times. So one Thursday a month, we're doing a themed late night shop. So the store is going to be open till 8.
Okay.
And our first one is August 21st. And it's a Joan Jett theme. And it's put another dime in that juice box, baby.
Oh my God, I love it. Put another dime in the juice box, baby.
We're handing out juice boxes. We're going to have some special giveaways and just a really fun way to give back and celebrate. And so every single Thursday is going to have a fun kind of various themes. So fall, into Halloween, into the holidays. So one Thursday of the month, late night shopping. So I'm really excited about that. Creative reuse nights. So we are taking different things and giving them a new life. Okay. So September 24th, that's going to be an event open to the public where we're turning vinyls, like old albums, and we're turning them into bowls.
Bowls?
Bowls, yes.
So they're flat.
I know, but with a mold and a little heat, you can do some pretty amazing things. And then knowing that maybe they're not playable anymore, but now they can be an art piece in your home or hold some bananas.
Okay. Well, I might go through there and look for some albums that might be worth some money, but that's okay.
Yeah. So I think the key is that we're trying to build that community. We want our teachers to feel like it's a warm hug when they come and visit with us. We know they're spending their time and their talent, but most importantly, their dollars to fund their classrooms. And so we just want to make sure that they know that we're walking beside them.
I love that. Joy, it was so nice getting to know you. Actually, Joy and I hung out a little bit longer because I had so many technical issues before we started recording. So we really chitty-chatted a little bit longer than we probably anticipated. So, but I appreciate everything that you're doing for this community. You know, I told you that my podcast, Smart Living, is all about showing people ways to save money, but also highlight people and organizations that are doing things to help us save money. Yay. So thank you for you, Ms. Kline. I appreciate you.
I really appreciate this time.
Okay. It's called Treasures for Teachers. If you want to find out more information, just head to my blog at smartshopperdaphne.com. And by the way, just in case you're wondering, I'm Daphne Monroe, your smart shopper. Have a fantastic day.